So, if you have been anywhere near the internet lately and are following streamer news like I do, you may have discovered that something quite interesting has happened and developed quite recently. Uh, Neon here from Clownfish TV kind of gives a pretty good summary of what's happened recently, so I was going to use him as a basis for it. But to give you just a primer of it, there's been a bit of controversy surrounding Asmongold recently. I know, yes, the day ends in Y and the sky is blue. Surprise. But the main situation that's been happening recently is this here. Asmongold and Mythic Talent have mutually split after he co-founded the agency in 2023. The announcement came days after streamer Caseytron publicly called out the agency for representing him. So yes, more drama. Now, Neon addresses the issue, but he didn't really go into any major detail on it. But I'll get back to the Caseytron thing right now in a moment. He goes in a bit more detail further down of that, essentially going into more details. TLDR, Mythic Talent posted a statement just yesterday, March 7th, saying they spoke with Asmongold and both sides agreed to part way, adding that they represented creators from a wide range of different backgrounds, etc. responsibility. Timing lines up with streamer Caseytron publicly attacking Mythic for repping Asmongold, and calling him edgy political content, cheering death, which has sparked harassment towards VTubers on the talent roster. We're going to get to who we're talking about in a minute. And the split is latest in a series of departures and terminations as Mythic, including Tectone and Vienna, signaling internal shifts. Asmongold continues streaming, no normal announcements. Now, he actually cites the different ones here, but I'm going to pull them up individually in a moment. Asmongold Mythic Talent splits latest chapter in agency drama. Co-founded in 2023 alongside Tips Out, mostly for streamers and VTubers, started facing pressure when Asmo became more of a polarizing political individual. Caseytron, I'm going to go ahead and pop onto her thing right now. So if you don't know who Caseytron is, she's a Hassan orbiter. Like, you can literally see right next to it on the relevant people, next to my head, Hassanabi Productions, Hassan the Hun video, I'm not Hassan Piker, parody. He's a fan. He is, but there's already that connection to them. You can see that, like, Caseytron is a heavy Hassan orbiter. Pretty much anything that has anything to do with Hassan, she usually latches onto. And if anybody knows anything about Hassan, the man is obsessed with Asmon. He is a hater of Asmon to the nth degree and does mostly anything he can to oppose the man pretty much on anything he does, says, thinks, you name it, he doesn't like him. And this is another good example of what has been happening lately is every now and then you'll see people try to come out and attack Asmon and try to cancel him. Usually it bounces off of him like a tennis ball. It barely does any damage. But one that Casey really specifically came after was, what they'll do is they'll go after Hassan and Casey and his orbiters will go after Asmon's quote-unquote orbiters, or people who are essentially within his realm of influence. And usually these are people like Kirsha or someone along those lines who strongly aligns with him and is an open fan and advocate for his ideas. They don't always agree with him, but they're aligned with him in many political ideas. But instead, this time they've gone after Mythic Talent directly. Caseytron, here's a list of the brands and creators that are partnering with Asmongold's talent agency, Mythic Talent. Why they want to be represented by someone who cheers for death every day is beyond me. You should probably start asking them. I made a video about this earlier about people going after like Emaru and other streamers like Tomoe who were obsessively asking them about their political opinions on ICE and stuff like that. And when they don't answer, they start getting offended, angry, demanding answers, etc. It's the same utter stupid nonsense of if you of demanding someone to take a political side in an argument, and if you don't take that side, well, then you're just some brainwashed animal who has no opinion of your own, or if you say the opposite opinion than they want, well, now you're just someone who's a member of the Mad Painters Party from 1940, 1930s Germany. Like, it's the same script every time. And this is what and that last line that she says really does hammer that home. Should probably start asking them, as if it has anything to do with what Asmund thinks and does, that somehow has a connection to them. Like, seriously, we could play the same game with her being an orbiter when it comes to Hassan and all the things he's called. There's a literal game called Terrorist or Hassan, Who Said What, and you'd be surprised how often people can't pick between two. So Hassan said horrible things. Asmund, most of the time he says pretty milquetoast opinions in my purview, but yeah, we'll go ahead and go along with her. Yeah, he said bad things too. Personally, don't care. It doesn't matter. It's unimportant. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, because Asmund has a strong connection to VTubers because of Mythic. And Casey doubles down too. Like, she even follows up on it. There are a lot of creators on this list that I love, and I think they're great. And that's why I think it's important they speak out against a brand risk Asmund is causing them. There is no brand risk from associating with Asmund. There isn't. This is utterly insane to think that just being part of a company that the man shares association with somehow puts them as a brand risk because he says things that certain people don't approve of. As long as Asmund does not violate the TOS of Twitch, YouTube, Kick, any platform he's on, he's not a brand risk. He's not someone who's actively calling for genocide or any other properties. He is somebody who's expressing his opinion on political actions. He sounds like he's brusque, inappropriate, negative, or in some way insensitive. That's him. He has full right to say this, just like Casey Tron has full right to say the opposite of whatever he says and be in the same manner brusque, negative, insensitive, whatever. Like, she has the right to call for this, it's her opinion, but to then demand people to take action is where I'm drawing the line on this. Being represented by a company whose main figurehead is an alt-right extremist is not good for business. That's another term I'm getting tired of, alt-right extremist. Extremists are people who are on the extreme side of political ideology. Asmund is not on the extreme side of anything. By God, man's probably closer to a centrist of the right than he is an extreme right ideology individual. And I really, really would like to have these people do more than just throw buzzwords. Alt-left, alt-right, extreme right, extreme left. Can we define these, please? Like, what is the damn center exactly? Because I've never heard anybody actually sit down and explain this. The alt-right, everybody just seems to associate with this person. I don't like their political opinions, which seem to strongly lean towards nationalism and conservatism, so this must be alt-right. Considering the fact they also put National Socialist workers of Germany on this side of the political spectrum when they're practically nowhere near it, I don't think they understand what the political spectrum is, so I'm going to ignore that part, that comment. Many of these creators are apolitical and practice not talking about politics, yet they're associated with a man who makes extremely harmful political takes every day. Who cares? He's doing X, Y, and Z. They're not. Let me go on another tangent here to compare this. There are plenty of streamers on especially VTubers, especially female VTubers, who are sussy say-sos who say extremely sexualized content material. Some of them are actively on sites which are purely adult in nature and have adult content, like Triple X. Does this mean that the people who associate with them should not associate with them because potentially it may be a brand risk to them if they are far more wholesome and potentially more conservative in their orientation? Like, should people like Leaflet or Silesium or those who are openly and advocate Christian ideals have nothing to do with people like Fefe or Melody? Because one side's deeply religious, the other side is openly I guess the term hedonistic is accurate for this considering their content. Hell, they probably like that term. Like, it's utterly stupid. What someone does outside of the realm of interacting with the other person is completely fine. Another good example, Kirsha, she will often raid Henya. She actively tells people, do not talk politics because Henya's not a political streamer. Cute girl is doing cute things. And Henya will thank Kirsha, like she'll connect with them. People who are political in their ideology do not have to be segregated from people who are not to in some way establish that, yes, I am apolitical. You can be apolitical and not have to actively avoid anyone who ever discusses politics. That is utterly stupid. Everybody has political ideas. What you're essentially tying is that their entertainment, which is apolitical, must also be reflective of their personal life interactions and their connections with people. It's an utterly insane concept. Especially considering this is coming from someone who is demanding often that people take a side. It's ridiculous. Being represented by Asmongold, I think, goes against many of their own business practices and standards. No, it doesn't. Asmongold needs to either step down from Mythic Talent, or people need to start leaving from other agencies that don't jeopardize their business image. The only person that is jeopardizing their business is you, Miss Casey. No one else. You're the one who is making demands that he step down, or that you are going to start somehow associating that these people are associated with someone who, in your opinion, a bad person. Like, there's a lot of people who do a lot of stuff that I think is inappropriate. I'm not going to actively demand that they be canceled or anything. It's utterly insane. But that's the basic concept of it. So, when people were saying this, essentially a couple of interesting occurrences happened. Shortly after this cancellation started, March 1st, so it's only been going on for about a week, you had this happen. You had Vienna come out and say that she is going to be leaving for Mythic Talent. Now, when she said she was doing this, you can see over here in her email, inquiries vienna.isoent.com. I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head, but there's a company, I think it's ISO Entertainment, but that's automatically right there, shows you that she has left Mythic Talent. I love my time there and being part of really cool projects like Beyond the Veil was really awesome. I appreciate everyone worked through the patience with me. Thank you so much, Mythic. She's leaving, moving on to another company. Now, amazing, large number of people immediately jumped on, aha, because this was 3 days after Casey and her attempt to start cancellation. Aha, so there's the first one to leave. Vienna explicitly clarifies, no, that's not what this is about. I'd like to clarify that my leaving has nothing to do with anyone else. Drama or internal conflict of any kind. I just found a cool team I wanted to work with, and I'm giving that a try. Sometimes it's nice to explore new opportunities and work with new people. I only speak from my own experiences. Please do not connect my leaving to anyone else to start drama on my behalf. Thank you. Which is a good example on this. This is 100%, I believe her. Why? Well, if you take other examples of people who left places specifically because of the cancellation drama, I mean, what is it? Primrose, was it? I think. They left specifically Advanced GG because of Rev Desu, before Rev got dropped by the company because of the cancellation campaign. They specifically made a big deal that they were leaving because they did not want to associate with Rev. And that's a perfect example of why I believe Vienna has nothing to do with this situation. Like, she's not the kind of person who's going to be like, oh, I'm leaving because XYZ. If she was leaving because of the cancellation campaign, she would openly say it. So I don't believe this has anything to do with it. It was a coincidence. But then also, we had something else happen just recently. We had False Eye. But then False Eye did this announcement long before, beginning March 7th. False Eye also says that he is essentially, or already has, graduated from VTubing. You don't know who False ID is. He is the big time VTuber news announcer. Like, when you think about VTuber news, like, there's a lot of people, but usually he was pretty much the face of it. He was the host of things VTubers say, YouTube, Twitch, Discord partner. He was a pretty big announcer of the VTuber world. But he has announced that he is beginning an indefinite hiatus for the foreseeable future. Essentially, he's done. He's gone. Now, he was also in connection to Mythic Talent. But he has, in the past 6 years that he's began as a VTuber, he's gone over 5 years since began Things Say VTuber Saying, 760 episodes covering 12,000 unique VTubers, artists, and fans alike. He's had a large influence. And a lot of people tried to tie this to the Caseytron cancellation. But as you can see in the tweet, it was February 21st. So this was way ahead of what happened. And like, people were talking about this, about he actually dropped a 1-minute video on this.
We're going to keep this short and bitterly sweet, as today I, False ID, am officially announcing my indefinite hiatus for the foreseeable future beginning on March 7th, 2026. There are many personal and professional reasons that influence this decision. Chief among them is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that deserves my full time and focus. All videos will remain available to view on the YouTube channel after my exit on March 7th. The TVS Discord will enter read-only mode on March 21st of 2026. Alongside, all TVS merchandise sales will be discontinued on March 21st of 2026. Both of my co-hosts, Lady and Cody, will continue on with their VTuber activities. It has now been over 6 years since I began as a VTuber, and over 5 years since we began Things VTubers Say, now spanning over 760 episodes and covering over 12,000 unique VTubers, artists, and fans alike. I cannot thank you all enough for being part of my life and creating a community that maturely discussed important and fun topics every single day. I hope you all can join me for a final annual charity drive for the American Heart Association, scheduled from March 1st to March 7th. And yes, with 2 weeks left, we'll have more Things VTubers Say for you soon.
So that's the whole thing about that, is False Eye left as well, and people tried to tie the two. But as you can see, it's been long-term difference, and he has no reference whatsoever to the cancellation or anything else. And then this happened just recently. Sens also came out that they are no longer with Mythic Talent. Nothing bad, by the way. They've actually been super helpful in the past and brought me lots of opportunities. I just would like to focus on being independent myself going forward. But as you can see down here, Angry Retro Gamer pretty much says exactly what everybody is trying to connect to. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. No way, all this isn't happening because of the recent controversy surrounding them stealing from their creators. Good for you for jumping a sinking ship, Asmund did as well, and various others. Again, this is pretty fresh also, because this happened just yesterday at like 7:30 p.m. People are seeing all the people leaving, which literally there are only 2 people, 1 person that has left other than Sens right now, and that is Vienna. False ID, though, even though he's graduating, technically has not left the company. The reason that Angry Retro Gamer and others are making these connections is something else. Now, what is this other thing that I'm talking about? Well, it's this. Grimmy. Grimmy has implied Mythic is just another black company, but will drama tubers talk about this when all the biggest ones work for them? Well, I guess False already graduated, but Rima is still there. So Rima is also a big VTuber. She is also part of Mythic. So there's a lot of people talking about this and trying to attach this as well to Mythic being a company that shouldn't be maintained. And Grimmy here, I'm going to go to her actual full stream on this one so you can see it from her directly.
I'm specifically not going to say anything about it. That's pretty much it. I wasn't hype about it. I'm not going to tell anyone about it. It was a little silly. This isn't like a thing where it's just like, oh, Grimmy got upset. This was quite substantial. But on the other hand, I don't really want to like cause any problems for anyone there. I don't know how on earth. Pretty much all I'll say is that there was something very, very crazy. I think people would be pretty upset about it if they do, and that's pretty much all I can say. I think everyone would be pissed, but I am not going to talk about it. And if I hear any rumors spreading about why I left where they're trying to frame me negatively, I will talk about it. And I will tell everyone exactly what it was. I was really, really, really upset. And I think everyone would have been, like, universally there. So, alright. Not on, like, on a personal level for them. Not just me, on a personal level individually. But anyways, we're moving on. I would have been upset too if you knew. If you knew. But Grimmy got receipts. I do, actually. I have proof of something. But, I'm gonna see if I can't... Well, I'm 50-50 on whether or not it's gonna become a legal matter or not. So, that's pretty much it. I didn't want to dig into that part, whatever happened. It's okay. I'm so sorry for being a little pissy about it. Anyways, that kind of stuff happens in life, and it be what it be. We're gonna have to probably not talk about it until, yeah. I mean, I don't want to... But dear God. Hammers? No, I'm gonna say this much. I was severely underestimating how intense business stuff would be when it came to streaming, and that's pretty much it. I am very surprised how people can act. Unprofessional? No! Nope! It was very, very intense, and I will not talk about it. I know that with streaming, like, if you leave a company on bad terms and stuff, like, sometimes they can go after you and all that. I'm not telling anyone about what happened unless I hear weird rumors or things get spread about it, and then I will tell everyone, and that's pretty much it. There you go, India. Yeah, and, well, I don't know if I have one, actually. Like, not in the, like, original sense. I don't know if those types are even, like, legal where I am, but anyway. That being said, I really trusted those guys. Okay, stop. Okay. Grimmy, stop. Grimmy, stop. Grimmy, stop. But yeah, this is nothing like anything I've gone through before. It was messed up. Okay. Anyways, sorry. It is crazy, though. Alright. Sorry, I'm feeling rage. I gotta go. We'll take a quick commercial break.
Now, Mythic replied to this quite heavily. Mythic is aware of public statements made by a former talent, Grimmy, regarding payment discrepancies. We take her allegations seriously and have conducted a thorough review of our records. The claim that Mythic skimmed funds from her two campaigns are factually incorrect. Our records indicate that Grimmy was paid in full for both cited activations, per contract terms and according to the terms of her talent agreement, which include an agreed-upon management fee. The campaigns were valued at $2,100 and $4,400, respectively. In the first campaign, Grimmy was sent the full value of $2,100 activation, less our agreed-upon management fee, less any potential banking transaction fees on her hand, essentially talking about, like, when people handle money, there's going to be, like, other people shaving stuff off. In the second campaign, Grimmy received a full payment of $4,400 for the campaign, less our management fee, any banking fees. Both of these payments were made within days of receiving payment from the brand. Had Mythic skimmed the $100 and $400 amount alleged by Grimmy, her payouts would have been significantly lower. Our payment platform logs every transaction. These figures are available for independent verification via her bank statements and our portal. If any payment inconsistencies have taken place or our figures above are incorrect, we encourage Grimmy to provide us these inconsistencies so we may remedy them. While we attempted to reach Grimmy to clarify her grievance, she chose to make these claims publicly before a dialogue could occur. We have sent Grimmy the banking logs, contracts, invoices, and payment record receipts for these campaigns, and we remain open to reviewing any documentation Grimmy may have that contradicts them. We understand that miscommunication can and do happen, and that we certainly are not immune to them. Mythic remains committed to transparency and success of our creators, and we will continue to foster an environment built on mutual respect and professional integrity. So yes, this sounds like a lot of details and a lot of issues, but essentially what they're talking about is, and this guy over here shows it, this image here, is they're talking about a drop in price. They're saying, because apparently Grimmy shared this, For 1 4-hour stream timeline offer, $4,000, 20% edited. Is that Mythic said 4,400? She's saying 4,000 only got to her. Essentially, that, and this guy over here is claiming that the math doesn't add up. Meanwhile, people down here, 10% is union standard for what a manager is allowed to take. Unionize. Like, so there is some monetary discrepancy here, and if Mythic is telling the truth, then Grimmy spoke up on this before anybody else had a chance to talk to her on it. So there's a bit of he said, she said going on about what is actually happening here. So we'll have to actually wait and see what is occurring. But again, more Mythic situation happening. Now, people just add on to this. Oh, look, Vienna left. Sens left. Falsai, he left, but he probably was like, but they don't even pay attention to when he said he was leaving. They just say, oh, look, 3 VTubers, they're gone. Oh, and by the way, Grimmy now has this problem with them. Oh, look at this. They're absolutely falling apart. Oh, and Asmon's left too. But really, it seems to be just a coalescence of storms and coincidences that seem to be tearing the company apart. Because when you talk to other people, like Cha-Cha, she is also a member of Mythic. So, as well as like Silver and so many others when it comes to big time VTubers. And she said Mythic isn't a VTuber agency. They are a company that provides sponsorship to their talent roster. They also provide legal support. Someone else tries to infringe on your IP. Mythic has helped me twice in that regard for making sure my IP was protected. I have nothing but good things to say about Mythic, honestly. And of course, people are going to immediately challenge her on this. But she goes down into more detail. How it works. Become a Mythic Talent, get on a roster of other streamers. Gaming companies pick streamers on that roster and offer money to play a game, activity on stream. Mythic asks talent if they want to sponsor. Plan stream day and fulfill sponsor requirements. Mythic gets a cut, streamer gets a bigger cut. Profit. So, she goes through all this. But then this is also, here it comes. Wakanis TVT, they bring up the point that everybody's bringing up. The point is, why would anybody want to be associated with a company that was created by Tectone and Asmongold? All the VTuber drama has been coming from Mythic Talent, especially Shy Lily, Vienna, and Joel leaving only highlights this. I have not heard anything about Joel leaving Mythic Talent. I have done multiple research searches, and I have not seen anything. Only Vienna has done this. And when it comes to VTuber drama, I can only imagine what they're talking about with Shy Lily. I have no clue what they're discussing on this, because nowhere have I searched any tweets or any information. Maybe Joel left last year, because the only time I have seen anybody, because from 2026 until now, the only person that has officially left Mythic is Vienna, and now also Sens, which literally was just yesterday. That's only 2 people, only 2 VTubers. So I don't know what Mechanist is talking about when it comes to that. If Joel left earlier, maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But people come into agencies and leave agencies. Macha-Cha replies, a lot of time, people leave sponsorship agencies for other sponsorship agencies with different opportunities, benefits. Sometimes it's not a matter of Mythic being bad. Sometimes it's finding other companies that serve the streamer to their preference. And to expand on that, Trigger Point replays something from Kirsha, who is also a part of Mythic Talent, and she also goes into the same detail.
Could I ask my Mythic contact to consult their lawyer about tortious interference lawsuits, pretty please? I have no idea what the fuck is going on with Mythic. I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like, I saw Grimmy say some stuff about Mythic, but she's like, I can't say too much. And then Cha-Cha was like, I don't know what's going on with Mythic. They've only done well by me. I haven't had any issues with Mythic either, so all these people who are coming out and being like, there's some horrible things lurking in the sewer. I'm like, where? What happened? I don't understand. A bunch of people left, no comments from them. I don't know what's going on. I have literally no fucking clue, which is not too surprising considering Mythic isn't like a traditional talent agency. It's just like a bunch of us with our own independent managers. Could I ask my Mythic contact?
So again, people say a bunch of people left. Since 2026 started, I can only find Vienna and Sens. I cannot find anyone else who's left. So I don't know where these people are getting this from. But essentially they're referencing the Grimmy situation. And then down here it says it again. Kirsha says specifically, to be clear, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong, just that I have no idea what's going on. And this isn't the first time I've seen people say that they've had a bad experience with Mythic. And my personal experience reflects what Cha-Cha said. So, like, more and more things keep falling apart. And then Juju, she goes into it even more detail as well. Let's us theorize. If Asmongold parts ways because the company was under fire, then this would just align with what he always preached. I don't want to let other people struggle because of what happens around my person. That is why he is and will always be the GOAT. That's our opinion. But I agree kind of with what could be worse. But I agree with what a lot of the people are saying. It's like, but I agree with a large number of other people is that saying Asmon leaving, I don't know if it's purely for, like, what he says is like, oh, because what Juju says, he doesn't want other people to get hurt. Because if he gave in because of Casey, that is literally one of the worst things possible you could do. Even if he's quote-unquote protecting others, you have just bent the knee. Even if it was to take an arrow from someone else, you still bent the knee. This is only going to encourage more people. And you can see already with other people who I saw and referenced is that they are tying together potential ideas that Mythic is not actively taking care of its streamers, somehow lacing that in with not being associated with Asmongold because of his political ideology. As if somehow the political ideology that Asmon had was a bad thing and that those bad things are causing the negativity between Grimmy and the company. And seriously, Grimmy is the only one currently who has said anything bad within like the start of the year. It is a strange thing. Because I think a lot of people are trying to tie Mythic to VShojo and Nijisanji and Hololive and all these other companies which have shown in the past to do bad by their people, not treat them right, not care for them. But if Mythic has been giving payouts, they're already a step ahead of VShojo. They're not trying to bully people into following a political ideology, so they're a step ahead of Nijisanji. And even places like FaZe have shown that they've stepped too far and tripped up lately when they did what they did with Jelly. Continually, they're seeing more and more of this. And their association is that, like he said earlier, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Yeah, it's a duck. But just because 3 ducks eat the bread out of your bread box doesn't mean the 4th duck who was outside did it too, just because he's a damn duck. It doesn't make any sense. The logic is ridiculous. Each of these companies need to be judged independently. And Grimmy says she has receipts. She's shown one. I'm curious to see if Mythic has receipts as well. They probably won't go out and do that. They'll probably just actively file a lawsuit that you are slandering us. And if they can handle it behind doors, that's it. But Grimmy's situation has nothing to do with Asmon. Vienna's situation has nothing to do with Asmon. Sen's situation has nothing to do with Asmon. False ID's situation has nothing to do with Asmon. But people are taking all these separate things. 3 streamers who have found new, best way to put it is opportunities. Them leaving for those opportunities. Someone having a pay dispute with the company, and then Caseytron making a demand to cancel Asmon because he says words she doesn't like. They're all coalescing these into a single argument that somehow Mythic bad. But at the same time, you have people like Cha-Cha and Kirsha who are saying, no, I've had nothing but good from them. They've done right by me. But this is what I'm talking about primarily is this is the fog of war when it comes to political activists in the VTuber community or people who are adjacent who are trying to infect the VTuber community with political or activist ideology. They will take things which are completely unrelated, wrap them together, put them in a package, and then throw it at you and say, you don't agree with this, you're a bad person because you're allowing this bad stuff to happen. And I'm telling you right now, again, we must make sure to gatekeep this community. Yes, gatekeep. Because we cannot allow people who do this kind of misinformation to spread. Because there are people who know what they're talking about this and who are actively mixing these different events together so that they can put out ahead of a narrative. Do not permit it to happen. It's not allowed. Streamers are leaving for their own things. There's another streamer who's arguing with the company because of payment. Asmon is leaving for his own reasons. He has not expressly stated why. And there's plenty of streamers who are staying because they like the company. Whether or not the company turns out to be bad or good, I don't know. I don't have much faith in corporations either. I've seen too many of them do bad things. But the facts are the facts. And to take them and to coalesce them into something else is cobbling together a chimera which will only destroy the community once again.